What is up, guys? My name is Harrison and I'm back here today casting with ESOC TV. We're here for the rounds of 32 in the Pro Division, checking out the qualifiers between Optimus Prime today and Pérez. This is going to be a best of 5, I believe, unless somebody messaged me and let me know. And the first map today we're doing is ESOC Florida. The players are all ready to go, and we're going to hop into game number 1 here today. Looking forward to this series. 2 top players. Optimus Prime recently beat me in a 1v1 and completely outclassed me. He's a very good player and recently been in top form, as you can see by his Brigadier rank. Alright guys, we are here jumping into game number 1 between Optimus Prime and Pérez. We're just recording the game to start off with. Spawning in the top right of the map, we have Pérez playing as the Russian civilization in the colour blue. His opponent today is Optimus Prime in the bottom left of the map, in the colour red, playing as the German civilization. It was a 200 wood start to kick us off, so I'll be looking forward to see the German explorer starts off with opening a trading post, and he has gone for the trading post. He's gone for an in-base trading post, which I like that. As you see from the Travar moving forward, I'm not too sure if Optimus could get a forwards trading post and get an early passive experience, and so as I let to go for a safe trading post in his base, which also means that when the Travar comes back around for a second pass, it'd be the earliest opportunity for him to get XP and send his first shipment. Both players start with the market, of course, and we have Optimus Prime getting the hunting dogs upgrade already. He's still chopping for a house, so he needs a couple more bits of wood until he gets the house down, but he'll then have a nice start off with the trading post, the house, the market, and hunt dogs. You can't ask for any more of that as a German player. I think Optimus will be very happy with his start. The Russian player also has started off the market as the map, getting the house down now, and he has already gone for the early hunting dogs. So early hunting dogs in for both players. If anybody in chat can just check if the sound quality is good. Optimus Prime has discovered an XP treasure worth of 40 XP. He's moving forward at the moment with the Explorer. He's about to come across a 100 food treasure, which would be very useful for the German Explorer. Speed him that age up time, especially as he possibly had to chop some extra wood. Yeah, he's just turned back. He's looking around for it. Possibly he's just scouting ahead of the treasure to see if there's an enemy Explorer nearby while his crack shots may recharge. But him having to delay the treasure due to the crack shot is possibly giving an opportunity for the Russian player to somehow jump in and see this. The Russian player comes across and they've both seen each other. The German player has high HP at the moment, and yes, he has. He's gone in for a hand combat at the moment, and he's pins the Russian player on the opposite side of his base. But oh no, the Russian dogs come in. He must have picked up a pet treasure earlier, and the German explorer is forced to go back to the TC. This is not what the German player really wants to do, starting with the Age of 1 exploration. He's only scouted around his own base, but he's also seen the 100 food treasure. He's conscious that the Russia player might be able to take it off him with the Explorer and Dog combo, which would overpower the single German Explorer. You can see by his waypoint, he's just trying to move around, trying to position himself to be able to get the treasure if he can, because he definitely would not like the Russia player to get it, because that could speed up his age up to get an idleless 14-vil age up. Currently skirmishing over the 2 Explorers and trying to take as much HP off the dog as possible. Got the dog named Laredo. Well, that's an interesting name. Oh, I've got it. Yeah, it's a Spanish name because it's a Spanish war dog, even though the Russia has picked up the war dog. Optimus is walking back to the treasure. He's been guarding so well, and it must look like for Pérez is unsure, but this waypoint indicates that Pérez is on his way to the left-hand side of the map to further scout his map out, or the enemy's map and surrounding hunts, and can possibly come across the German Explorer in time before the treasure is taken. The HP is going down slowly on the Outlaw Blowgunner. Pérez has seen the treasure. It's going to be a treasure contention early on for 100 food. This is sizable, specifically useful for Pérez. Crackshot comes in, and he's taken him out and gone for the treasure early on. Wow, that is quite big. This could help the 3 settler production, the musketeer production, could give Pérez more leeway to chop more wood in the transition instead of having to gather food up to get those settlers in straight away. And he's about to take down the Explorer for 45 XP as well. So I think Pérez is very happy with that age 1. He's pinned down the German Explorer into his own base. The German Explorer will not be able to see this forward blockhouse, and that's he has picked up the 45 XP and the 100 food treasure from the German player. So it's not just the 100 food for the Russian player, it's the 200 food swing in that matter. I'm just looking at the chat. I've got Castet saying the best British. Oh, thanks, mate. Unfortunately, my playing skills is definitely not top tier. But I like to think that I'm somewhat knowledgeable of the game and very passionate, as we all are, and everybody else was at the LAN. Russian players moving forward with Explorer. Not too sure what he wants to do with the Explorer, just probably to get in the little layer of the land. He's crack shot with one of the Jaguars, 135 coin. If he saves a crack shot for another Jaguar, that's an easy pickup with a melee into the Outlaw Blowgunner. The second shipment's about to come in soon, so we'll check what the Russian player wants to do. He could either be forward thinking with the 5 Cossacks and put on some forward pressure, or possibly now that he's scares the German player into thinking that the Russian player has the advantage, he may sit back with a crate shipment. Here we go. We've just seen 700 coin sit back in base for him. This could be used to fund musketeer production in a Iron Turk classic style, or possibly used as a surprise fast age up in this matchup. The German player may not be expecting this. The German player has gone for in-base racks with 5 pikes, 2 Ulan shipments come from the 3 settler wagon, and the German Explorer has been revived from the age up and is moving out to get a second trading post. This is a risky move for the German player. Luckily, it looks like that trading post is about to come up. However, he's moved out with no military presence behind him, and the Russian player, as you can see with his military population, he already has 10 musketeers out, and 10 musketeers, even though they're the German Rusketeers, they could still do large damage onto the 2 cavalry units of the German player, as well as the 5 pikes. Currently, the 5 pikes are just sat in base, expecting and waiting for that 5 Cossack shipment, and he's even trained a 6th pike here just to be extra sure. But that Cossack shipment is nowhere to be seen. It's only just come now, and it was shipped at home. But this is smart from Pérez. He saw the Ulans earlier. He saw them. He's sent his Cossacks to the home point for his TC to be able to cut them off. This way that he's not going to have to move these 2 settlers back to the town centre, and he can just chase the cavalry, and so they're safe enough away from his TC and Vils. Because although trying to catch and kill the German cavalry is a priority, a second priority is to not get any idle time as villagers, which would have happened if the cavalry units were up top putting pressure on. Ooh, that's 1 German settler going down. She will not be seeing the Fortress Age. Musketeers have come in and picked up, have taken a few pot shots and taken out 1 villager. Let's see if there's anything else that's gone down. Units lost. So it's just the 1 settler so far, but no other military units come down. That is a free pickup for Pérez, and he'd be very happy with that. At the moment, I think Pérez is really enjoying his position at the moment. Even though the score suggests that Optimus is in some sort of lead, this is a very normal position between Russia and Germany. What I would like to know, to see out of Pérez, though, he can see on the score that Optimus has 2 trading posts, and you can obviously see from his town centre line of sight that it's not going to be any of these 2 trading posts. It has to be this forward one, which is outside of his defendable base. Now, the German player has only been going for crossbows and pikemen, which Pérez has definitely seen the pikemen, possibly not the Expos, but he can poke in, get a bit of siege, and withdraw, or should I say retreat to his dual blockhouses, which we use as a very solid defensive position. Oh my god, how many musketeers are here? That is a lot of musketeers. Let's go into the military units tab. 35 musketeers now for Pérez. This is a large musketeer mass. I think Pérez is possibly waiting for that age up from the German player into the Fortress Age and catch him for a timing push when Germans are weakness. But looking at Optimus's macro, his population, and his villager split, he's split gathering between food and wood, no coin. He is, at the moment, determined to stay in Age 2 to actually charge these blockhouses head on and take them down. He's sent 700 wood, 600 wood, 8 Expos, and now is pushing out with a critical mass of Expos of about 37. He's even called Minutemen. Minutemen are moving in from the TC with the shipment of 8 Expos. They're currently not in the fight just yet, which could be costing Optimus a few Expos at this point. However, he has forced the engagement. He's pinned the Musketeers down. He can't run away, but with a lack of cavalry and a lack of pikemen, it's just an undefended mass of Expos, which at the moment is doing really well. It's just Musketeers and Strelets. Possibly once the cavalry units drop down, the Strelets to be moved to the front to take up any extra damage they can, just protect the Musketeers a little bit longer. 13 Strelets shipped from the second blockhouse. What we've got in queue coming in for the 2 players, we have 5 Musketeers, 10 Strelets, reinforcement bats of infantry, with a 5 Cossack batch. He's trained that. That was not a ship, so he has a stable up as well and train it in, possibly making the most use of that 700 coin here. And Pérez underneath his 2 blockhouses, and that's that batch of Strelets coming in. He's got the military advantage, he's got the defensive advantage of the blockhouse, he's got the training advantage near the blockhouse as well. He is in a good position. All the pikemen are nearly down. 1 cavalry just to snare, and all this infantry is too much for the crossbow master half. They have to run back. There is no Minutemen support available from the town centre. He has got no coin. He's no prospect of aging up. We've got a desperate 5-Yulan shipment here, which could be useful, could do some decent damage to the Russian army. However, in terms of game position, I can't see the German player be able to advance from this. And we know from what the Russian player likes to do. The Russian player likes to take decent trades, likes to trade off their cheap units for the German players or other players' more expensive units, and force them into Age 2 as long as possible. Germany has played into Russia's hands, and that is it. The GG has been called. Optimus cannot send that 700 gold in and age up in time, and that is going to be 1-0 to Pérez. I'm going to change the score while I'm ahead, so I don't forget. Whew. That was an exciting game 1 to start off there in this series. If anybody in the chat can just check if it's all going well, video quality, audio quality. If it is, I want to go straight into the second one. So what I saw here was the forward blockhouses from the Russian player with the 700 gold shipments sent to the TC, a style of play which I know that I Am Turk has used quite a lot and has spammed out Musketeers, which at that point would not be afraid of any cavalry trained from the German player. The German player has fallen for the, I wouldn't say bait, but has gone for a play of trying to knock down the forward outposts of the Russian player at Age 2. However, by doing so, he got himself into an engagement which he started to lose, but once he got into a position where he was outmassed, he couldn't risk the age up, he couldn't send the cards he needed to get the age up in, and had to call GG. We have got settlers out in the front gathering wood. We got no hunting base, or a little bit hunt, but villagers all around, but nobody gathering gold. Checking in the post game village count. So a continuous production of villagers as well, possibly slowing down a slightly bit for Pérez, but he was able to start to get a villager, although not catching up to the German, but closing the economic gap as well as having that military gap. And this is a fantastic trade for Pérez. It's slightly exaggerated though, because while this fight was happening, the Russian player did ship extra units and shipments, and population, 1 Musketeer is probably not as good as 1 German Expo. Slightly close, but underneath the 2 outposts, the German mass just fell apart, and that was it for the game. Right, I'm going to hop into game number 2 now. So we're starting into the lobby for game number 2. Looks like Pérez is clicked in with French into Arkansas, or he's suggested that he's going to be playing French and ready for the next match. This is Optimus's opportunity to counterpick, and he's going for the British civilization. He's clicked in ready for that. Suggests he's ready for this matchup. So game number 2 is going to be French versus British on Arkansas. Let's hop into this game for game number 2. Welcome back, guys. Spawning into game number 2 on Arkansas. So we have Pérez on the right-hand side of the map, playing as the French civilization in the colour blue. We've got a 200 wood start to this situation. Possibly, again, another early trading post to be seen from the... previously as the German, but this time it'll be the French. He's moving the explorer to the bottom right of the map, possibly looking for that trader route. He's starting to move. He's seen the trading post, and yeah, the trading post going down. His opponent today is Optimus it's still Optimus, it's the same series in game number 2, but he's playing as the British civilization this time. His 300 wood start means he's going to drop down 2 forward manors to get the extra villagers from the manor houses of the British civilization, as well as starting to build and generate a nice wall to protect his gold mine from possible any hussar raids from the French player or any further pushes at a later stage. With a forward gold mine, this is very useful and very important to protect it as well as you can. We don't often see many gold starved situations. However, although not necessarily gold starving, it is possible for the French player to come in and start picking off villagers as freely as possible away from the town centre fire and can easily retreat back across the map where he is. So Optimus is correct to identify that's a potential weak situation in his town building placement and has started to build his houses accordingly. Explorers come down to the bottom of the map. He's come across a 70 food treasure. Easy pickup for the British player. Just start microing the single black bear and hopefully have a crack shot available to take out the second for a quick 70 food. Pérez has also discovered a food treasure, 90 food, and there's a lot of food treasures guarded by 2 black bears on this map. I'm sure it was a similar treasure. Yes, that was picked up by the crack shot. Pérez is moving across. Stray dog in need of rescue. He's just going to walk past that one. He's looking for extra resources to help out the age up. And his native scout is at the top, and he's come across the 100 food by 2 outlaws. This was recently buffed in the latest ESOC patch from 80 food, and just like last game, he's going to come up, crack shot one, melee the other, and Pérez would have picked up 190 food if he's able to pick it up. The Optimus sends an explorer to the bottom right of the map. He's starting to move and have a quick check into the Pérez's base, but he's currently so far away from the treasure that I don't think he'd be able to get back to it, although he hasn't scouted it. Pérez might have scouted, but Optimus' explorer is out of the way, and so this will be an easy, safe pickup for Pérez and could help his age up. He's currently got 14 villagers queued, but after picking up this 100 food and having the 120 food invested in the 14th CDB, he may wish to cancel his 14th CDB and go up for a 13-ville age up. We'll check if that's happening. The 13th ville has popped up, and looks like he's committing to the 14-ville age up, but what that will mean is he can early transition onto wood and gather more wood and still age up with a 14. Yes, the wood villagers have now transitioned off the food, and all of them are gone to wood except for one, which is hunting, or going to herd in at that second hunt there. Pérez is now walking to the top side of the map where we usually see some of the higher level treasures. We've got the CDB guarded by 4 black bears. We've got a medicine man only guarded by 2 cougars. If any player wants to go for a 5 hussar play or semi-FF, the medicine man be very useful to send the hussars forward, absorb a bit of the TC fire, and if they're not being used, bring them back, heal them up, and then you have 5 fresh hussars to go into the fortress age. We see Pérez dropping down a native TB in the top left, the Cherokee settlement. The Cherokee, they do have some interesting techs. Check here, they've got the 4 settlers delivered for the 200 woods, 200 coin. A very good improvement, how they instantly get you a 4 settlers. We see some ships even sending 4 settlers as a home city shipment in the second age. The only downside with this is that it takes 200 woods to build to the trading post, and it takes a while for the improvements to come in. We also have native warrior speed, only be useful if he's trading Cherokee riflemen, not the Cree, but the Cherokee, shall I say. Decent skirmishers, nothing to shout about, but they do have an expensive wood cost, which may not think of Pérez not. He's gone for the I'll get here. He's gone for the Cherokee basket weaving. All market researchers no longer cost any wood. And so let's go for the text bean research here. And yes, Pérez has gone for hunting dogs, 50 coin. Placer mines will be 75 food. Steel traps, 125 coin. That's already 250 wood saved there. And if you want to go amalgamation, that's a very cheap upgrade to get now. Only costing 200 food, but increasing that gold gather rate. Given that Pérez has already got the market upgrade and invested in the trading post, at a later stage he may also want to go for the 4 settlers as well to further boost his economy. The British player has moved into the centre of the map, dropping down a manor house, a forward market. It looks like he's gone for the steel traps already, so if this does get sieged down, he has got the most important economic research for the British player, so it's not overly risky. I believe this is Optimus is trying to get a nice wall of line of sight around here to catch any cav raids, trying to get some map control, and he's pushing in his possibly his 3rd or 4th and 5th hunts. Normally you see quite a few hunts spawning in this area of the map for both players. However, Optimus has identified that he's got quite a few hunts at the front, and he's doing a good job. He's pushing them back quite quickly, and they were at the centre of the map, but he's readily pushing them back. He's got 2 hunts at the bottom left. I know he's scouted out. His explorer came down here earlier, so he has seen that his late game food income is secure if he pushes out and controls this area. What's the French player doing? The French player has got dropped 700 wood down. Did he go for the 4 CDB first? He did go for the 4 CDB first, and 5 hussars have just popped out. They're going for a raid, but they've gone for the sneaky approach into the waterbed here. It's just a texture. There's no gameplay effects, but he's going for a very wide approach. He's probably aware that Optimus is going for some map control. He may have seen that these hunts being pushed in, so he's split 3 at the top, 2 at the bottom. Hopefully get a pincer maneuver on the British base and test Optimus's reaction time and his micro to a limit to avoid not losing the Ville or getting picked up. But they both convert to 1 place, which, although has forced 4 settlers off the hunt and possibly can pick up 1, as he has picked up 1. Path around the manor house there. Yeah, he couldn't reach the safety of the outpost, so that raid has been of use. He's gone in. He's gone out before any unit for the British players being produced. 5 musketeers on the field. A stable has been built. And if I go into the units in queue, there are 4 hussars, nearly about to pop. The 5th one's in queue, and it's just popped now. So he's got 5 musketeers, 5 hussars versus 5 hussars here. He's been snared by the explorer. He's managed to get away, but the 5 or the 4 hussars grouping together has slowed him down as well. So he's lost 2 hussars there. He could have possibly retreated earlier and preserved all the 5. However, the French player has now seen that the British player has committed to 5 hussars, 5 musketeers. That's wait. Oh, I've just seen in the chat. Oh, come on, guys. Nah. No, let's keep this PG rated, please. But yes, you might see me around a few other streams. The 5 hussars of the British player are chasing the French player to the bottom of the map. The French player is running for his life. Now being chased by Paco, the Spanish dog now owned by the British player. But Pérez has now seen that the hussars have stopped chasing him, turned back into the base, and oh no, we've got quite a few villagers out of place. He's gone for the explorer, which, although it's not economic, there's so many villas at the back of the mine specifically. He's gone for some nearby settlers, but you want to get the villagers at the back of the mine here. Minutemen being called, taken down, but Optimus, he's happy with this trade. He can take a bit of idle time and a bit of shots on Minutemen and TC. Hussar's got high HP, they got range resist, and he's already taken down 2 CDBs at least already. Let's look at the units lost. Units lost here, 2 CDB, yeah. So he's lost 2 CDB for that. He has given up 4 hussars, but what the British player does excel doing is having a large economic population. So the British feels happy trading away military units because he knows that he can replace them more readily available than the French player. Minutemen down to low HP. They're within 1 cavalry swing. 1 swing. Oh yeah. Oh, look at this hero hussar. He's just taken. He's just killed 3 guys by himself. I bet he's gonna feel bad tonight when he goes back from the battle and has to explain to his family that he's taken out 3 militiamen of the French colony. They couldn't defend themselves, not against the might of the British army. The musketeers which were trained have moved forward but have come back and have now seen that Pérez is in the third aid and realised that these colonial musketeers are unlikely to be able to compete with the French dragoons, the more mobile, same range, but more mass here. They can overpower the musketeers. 5 pikes, 3 musketeers pushing forwards as well, scaring the dragoons back, and the dragoons will have to run away from this engagement. It's not that the dragoons can't win this fight, it's that if you're trading off age 3 for age 2 units fairly equally, you're losing your tech advantage. He wants to move away, wait for that shipment to come in, and possibly push out when he has a clear tech advantage. The British player is also advancing behind this, so this extra pressure of the 5 pikes, the 6 musketeer has forcing military units away. He's essentially buying, even though he's pushing out, he's buying time by letting Pérez know that he needs to kind of wait around until he gets extra units out instead of moving straight across the map if he had just the skirmishers out and all the classical units of the British player running back to their own base. Going into shipments sent and military units, we have 9 dragoons on the field, 13 skirmishers for Pérez. He has currently shipped the 5 dragoons and the 8 skirmisher card as his opening shipments, just to get that skirm goon combo rolling. I like how he went for the goons first to get that mobility. With mobility, you can catch enemy units off very easily. And if the more important thing, which I sometimes struggle with, is if things go wrong, you can run away. If you have a mass of, let's say, if you went 7 skirm, 8 skirm, and get caught out by 5 hussars, that's not a great place to be in. The British player nearly aged up. He's still taking skirmishes with a couple units. He needs to pull back and regroup altogether. Oh my god, he's got his villagers out on the hunts at the moment. He does have safe hunts at the bottom and at the top. A bit of berry bushes he could supplement his food income, but there's a risk of him losing multiple villagers here to the Skirmash, who the Skirmash does not have to move in any further here. The Skirm's happy taking pot shots to the villagers. The villagers have range resist, no, melee resist, should I say, but they do have the greatcoats on, but they're quite weak to skirmisher fire, as in he's currently trading off economic units to protect his military units from the skirmishers, but he has longbows and hussars. Both can happily receive volleys from the skirmishers and not lose too many units. Longbows, it seems they have picked off quite a few dragoons. However, he's moving out with looks like 6 hussars still available, but there is 8 dragoons still on the field behind the skirmass. The hussars are targeting the skirms at the front. However, the dragoons are still healthy. There's still 6 of them, and he's just picked off hussar after hussar for free. And once the British player has no cav, he can just continuously retreat with skirms and preserve his skirmishers for another engagement. It looks like Pérez has dropped a house on the top. He's trying to secure some extra hunts. He's maybe focused a little bit too much on his early macro, his age 2 raids in, and his age 3 early composition. But he's currently run out of all hunt sources near his base, and he's come out quite far, possibly 2 screens away to get to the next available hunt. He's only got 2 courier de bar on the front line, which is all right. If the worst does happen, that's not a sizable amount of his economic units. There's 5 CDB up on the top, or there's more joining the fray, and he's dropping an outpost just to give that extra protection from any possible incoming raids. But he does have a large squadron of dragoons available to cut off any cavalry raids to the top, and so these villagers at the moment are pretty safe. He still does have the Cherokee trading post, which could possibly train 1, maybe 2 units and get some line of sight across the top 2 hunts, but the actual trading post itself provides a decent amount of line of sight. Veteran longbows are now taking a few pot shots into the skirmishers. Longbows do very well against other ranged infantry. They fire twice as fast, I believe, and as a combination of their range resist, their decent range attack, and the extra range they do have over the skirmishers, they trade well. But the skirmishers have baited the longbows in. The longbows have come towards the falconets and just taken 2 shots from the falconets. That's 3 down there. The falconets have probably taken out at least 10 longbows already. Then another 4 have gone down there with splash damage as well. He must have taken about a good 15 to 200 1,500, 2,000 resources worth of longbows. That's a great trade for the Falconets. The skirmishers are now taking pot shots on the Dragoons. The Dragoons are overcommitting at this point. They're taking a full volleys from both the French Dragoons and skirmishers. And although the Falconets have gone down, that was a great trade for the French player, I would say. The only problem is that the British player, although it wasn't the best trade for him, he's happy with that trade. He's got the economic population on his side. He just knows that if he can keep on training units, keep on taking engagements, eventually he may come out on top with a better eco. Amalgamation coming in for the French player. Now, because of his early Cherokee research he had, this is only 200 food. 200 food for 20% on your gold mining, on 17 vils. Quick maths, that's about 3.5 vils for free there. Well, not for free, but for 200 food. And that's about 1.5 CDB worth of what you can train out of the TC for 200 food. Cav switch now for the French player. 3 cuirassiers have come in onto the field. He's gone 5 dragoons, 8 skirmishers, 1,000 wood, 2 falconets. We saw the 2 falconets just then. 3 cuirassiers. However, there's been no upgrades being shipped by either player at this moment. We're still the French player. We'd like him to ship Cav Combat to boost both his squadron of cuirassiers and dragoons, whereas the Optimus may invest in his yeoman for his longbow or Cav Combat for his hussars in his own right. I'm unsure what line of sight the wars provide these nowadays, but he might be able to see the French player on the gold mines. Even if he does, he may not have the mass at the moment to push out. It's currently equal between the two civilizations, 63 for the British and 60 for the French player. The British player is mainly focused on dragoons and longbows, where the French player is now starting to that voice there. Starting to focus on cuirassier production. If I check in units in queue, let's see what he's training. He's gone for another batch of cuirassiers. He does have 2 stables, so he could go for, instead of training a skirm batch, he could go for 1 cuirassier in queue, 1 dragoon in queue, and when the batches are near completion, can modify which units he would prefer to suit his composition and to best combat the British player here. House coming down. He's got no vils and wood at the moment, so any extra units being produced is going to quickly come into some housing problems, and it never feels good putting villagers onto wood resources, but at some point he needs to commit to the chopping of the woods to fund house production instead of having to buy the wood from the market, which he's just done there, and each time he buys wood it gets more and more expensive. 3 Hussar raid on the top, forcing some of the middle gathering cuirassiers, which earlier I did say that they are at risk in the centre, but losing 1 CDB for pickup of 2 Hussars from his mobile squad of Dragoons, I think Pérez in the meantime will take that. However, in the longer run, if this game goes on for another 15 minutes, the British player will be happy with the situation. Taking a look back to see in the grander scheme of things, we're starting to kind of transition to that late Fortress Age, and only now have we seen the first upgrade card being shipped by the British player. That is Cav Combat, so that affects both his Dragoons and his Hussars. Hussars are currently 432 HP, but will be increased further with the Cavalry Cuirass upgrade here, so he'll be having near max cavalry for the time being. That's if he tends to ship his cavalry hit points as well, which does affect his Dragoons. Pérez is postulating around the mid-map. He's protecting his forward gold mine because his gold mine at the bottom has expired, and he's consciously aware that his eco has to somewhat shift to the north. He still has about 5 villagers at the bottom slightly exposed to any raids. However, keeping villagers near military is a sensible idea, that they can either tank in the fight or run away and be protected by the military units. And both players are kind of on a standoff at the moment. They both believe that each other's economy. They both believe that their own economy is doing well. The British player, the manor houses, 160 manor population, as well as shipping 8 settlers and 5 settlers early, where Pérez has got the extra 4 villagers from the Cherokee, as well as the all market ups. Right, the British player is sensing he may have the initiative at the moment. He's pushing forward with a 4-unit combination. I've heard that Optimus is a firm believer of the drag box technique, and even I couldn't manage 4 units in groups, so he's has split off all units possible, but trying to get the most out of all units with a 4-unit control group is quite difficult. He's got pikemen in front of the cuirassiers blocking him off from the longbow, however they've been picked off by the skirmishers. Dragoons on dragoons taken out, and once the dragoons go down, the cuirassiers are free range to move forwards, but actually the longbowmen were targeting the nearby dragoons of the French player, and the surrounding hussar mass of the British players going onto the back line of the skirmishers. There's only a handful of dragoons. Oh, there's this decent size of dragoons remaining for the French player, but the dragoons are having to focus on the cavalry, but his skirmash is dwindling. Currently, Optimus's longbow line remains untouched. He's moved his dragoons back in reserve. He knows that the dragoons are critical to defending from the incoming cavalry of the French player of the 4 cuirassiers. 10 dragoons, cavalry combat, and now that cavalry combat's in, these longbows, they're just melting. They're just melting like hot knife through butter from the French swords of the cuirassiers. He's now caught up with the dragoons. He's snares the dragoons as well. They can't get away. Now we've only 3 dragoons defending from the longbows. The 2 cuirassiers are going to go ham on the longbows, and they have to run. They cannot take this engagement. The military population is being said and done. It's still even, but there's a decent 3-unit composition remaining for the French player. However, with the greater economic potential of the British player still, which he has had from the mid-colonial age, early fortress, late fortress, he's taken that trade. He can still see his ahead score. He doesn't have to play too aggressive and just control his resources, control his map, remass, and once he had... Oh my god, those 2 falconets went for a bit of a wander too far from the town centre. He's put them together. Classic drag box. We got falconets, ranged infantry, heavy infantry, ranged cavalry in a nice happy group with 3 hussars going out for a speculative raid. He's going to pick up some settlers. However, 3 hussars are decent, but that is your entire cavalry competition in its own right. So if there's a quick fight taken in the centre, he is not around to defend that. Looking at Pérez, is he going to defend the raid or engage? He's going to defend the raid. He's got nearby outposts to protect it, and he's got to pick off, again, another 2 hussars early for free. But I think Pérez has lost quite a few CDBs this match so far. Yeah, 8 down. 8 CDBs down for Pérez. Only 7 villagers down for the British player. And usually in this matchup with a French kind of semi-FF style cav on the map, it's not normal that you see the French player losing more eco. Having said that, after finishing that lovely sentence, the British player has now lost 10 settlers compared to French players' 8 CDB. Skirmishers slightly out of position, being caught by the hussar to pin them down. Falconets possibly want to take a shot, but they're... Oh no. Oh, hang on a minute. The cuirassiers were on top of the falconets, couldn't start getting an attack, and then just got surrounded by all of the pikes and couldn't escape. They've just been piked down to death by the pikemen there. The falconets are still alive. The dragoons are down. It's just falconets, longbows, cavalry to snare, and it's just the skirmishers. This is what I was talking about earlier. If you just got skirmishers on the field, you are at risk of being snared and your entire army being cut down by cavalry, raised units, siege, the lot. And the 2 stable reinforcements of the French player means that he can readily get cav available, but these are expensive. Oh no, the falconets out of position. Oh, that's for free. That's 500. That's 1,000 resources for free. Even though they've traded really well, if you protect that a little bit better, he could have at least picked off 3, 4 level cavalry with that. However, again, it's just constant trades here. I can't keep up with this. It's just they're both walking out. They're both taking different trades, and at the moment, the French player's taking a decent trade. He's got cuirassiers on longbows. The longbows are just falling apart. 20 population for the French player, 3 for the... Well, it was 20 for the British, 3 for the French after 23 minutes. That's not what you usually expect. However, currently it's 34-0. I think Optimus has realised that he's got a decent score advantage. He's got a higher... He knows he can remass now. He feels he's got that better economy. He's happy to push out, and he feels confident that there's not much mass of the French player. But in terms of not having much mass, there is no field. Massive 9 batch, 10 batch of cuirassiers just popped from the stables, going to reinforce to the north. However, a single unit composition may not be the best idea against longbows, hussars, and pikemen. Now, 10 cuirassiers are very strong. I expect them to do very well and actually probably clean up the entire army. However, these are cheap units. Although they do cost wood, I'm sure the British players capturing woods with upgraded settlers on the wood as well. Oh no, the pikes! Stop piking down the villagers! No, no, no! Get the cavalry! Yeah, that's doing it. But it's too late. The splash damage from the cuirassiers have just taken out the pikes for near enough free. I don't think a single cuirassier has dropped down at the moment recently. There's still 9 cuirassiers on the field. He pops 10, so he's only lost 1. He's taken down, I don't know, 10 pikes, 10 longbows, 5 hussars, lost 2 there. He's probably lost quite a bit of HP on quite a lot of the others. But you got 8 cuirassiers moving on from that fight to fight another day. 5 hussars coming for reinforcements, but they're too late. The waypoint was set to the fight, and that's going to be another good to trade for Pérez. This is what he needs to come back into, and for the time being, I don't see this game ending anytime soon. He's sending another 10 pikes in, which Pérez is right to back away from that. He doesn't need to lose HP versus these food and wood units if he's aware that the coin mines on the map are running out. Optus really needs to sort out his waypoint issues. He's sending them all into the same area, which is decent, but in kind of waves. He needs to kind of go as a whole batch. So you got 15 pikes here, 5 hussars, pinning down the cuirassiers, taking them out. They can't get away, and the pikes are doing some good, decent damage. They're falling away. There's only 4 military units on the field. Pérez hasn't got any other military. It's just the cavalry. No military for Pérez. Decent amount of idle villagers, and at the moment he's kind of stalled. He's not progressing either the economic or military. He's got no military units out on the field. What has he got in queue? He's only got he's got two scums, 8 cuirassiers, but he can't keep trading the cuirassiers with the pikemen. He has to get a skirm mass going from ideally 2 racks, but he's only got the single racks at this point. There's no ready available mines. He's got no gold income. He's got villagers moving to the top left of the map looking for a gold mine. Path blocked by all the settlers here. He sees it, so he can go for a raid, but he's just got nothing to raid with. Losing settlers to pikes and hussar combination. Combination you don't see that often, but he's over-invested in the cuirassiers at the moment, because the pikes, it's just great trades for these cheap units. Oh, another 10 behind. They're trapped from both sides. They can't run to the top or to the town centre. This is a decent pickup, and these are very expensive trades for Pérez. He's currently down 80 score at this point, and I'm starting to feel that Pérez needs to change his composition drastically if he wants to come back into this one. He's got an arsenal. He's still got his 1 town centre, but they're training settlers into his resource depleted base. He can only resend them onto trees. And yes, the GG's called. Hussars on the top, raiding the villagers, going for the opposing berry bushes, and the GG there is called. Pérez. No, not Pérez. Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime taking 1-1 in this series, and we've got about to go into game 3. Ooh. Quite a slow burner in the second age. I think both players went for a more economic build. Optimus with the houses. He still only managed to end up with a 160 mana pop, which as a Brit player, you kind of, even if you're going to go for a semi-FF style or get to the Fortress Age, your end goal is still to get to 200 mana pop to make most of the best use of your Civ bonus. The French player went for an early Cherokee settlement and got the 2 economic upgrades of the Weaving Basket, I believe, and the Cherokee Library. So the 4 settlers and the no wood in the market for economic upgrades. Both went to Fortress. However, over time, the British stronger economy started to prevail over the fight. And is this? No, it's frozen out now. So, but in terms of upgrades, I can see from the upgrades here, the British cavalry were heavily upgraded in upgrades. Cavalry Cuirass, Veteran, HP, and the Cavalry Combat. The French player, I can't tell now, but I want to say that he had the baseline for the Veteran Cuirassiers, the Cavalry Combat. He may have squeezed in the Cavalry Cuirass, but I don't think he had the Cavalry HP at the end, so I think the Hussars were trading really well, especially the Pike composition, absorbing any hits from the Cuirassiers and doing good damage. Alright, I'm going to hop out into game number 3. Let's check the wheel graph quickly. So, villager population. British player always ahead, as you would expect, with French having less villagers but stronger villagers. But it was a decent raid by the well, it wasn't the raid. This was the point where the skirmishers were poking in onto the forward British hunters before he gathered his hunt at the bottom of the map and the top of the map. 8 settlers were sent to reimburse those who fell in the middle of the map, and just maintains that economic lead. And over multiple trades, if we go to the military population, you can see he just had a surplus of pikes and musketeers in age 2, but when we get to age 3, military population very even. Like, look at this trade. This is mano for mano here, all the way up. Trade in equal numbers, continuously taking a few pot shots and skirmishes. As we see early on, we can kind of see the French player leading the population, but as the game goes on with the better economy for the British, that actually starts to transition to a British player having the more higher military population, and then one gets to the point where these are just large batches of cuirassiers and they're just expensive to train and just run out of steam there. And that was game 2. Oh my god, how long is this going to take? This is going to be a long series, I reckon. I'm going to take a small 2-minute break. Right, I am back from a quick little break. I hear this from many casters when they do these sorts of events. Like, during the stream, their voice feels funny, and it's not often that I'm sat in my bedroom shouting at a screen, getting really excited over a game of Age of Empires. Who knows? My parents might be outside going, "What on earth is he doing?" So just taking a little break before the next game. Currently, Optimus is thinking about his civ there. I imagine if it's stressful enough for me, it's stressful enough for the players currently in a 1-all series. The third map in the series is going to be Colorado, and I haven't seen any civ picks from either player just yet. I've sent Optimus a message suggesting is he ready to go on to the next one. He also too may be taking a break, which is understandable because that was a long game. That was. Nice bit of water in between matches.
Are you ready?
I just sent an Optimus a message in the stream going, "Are you ready?" And he just comes straight back in. He wants to play Japan. Now it's on Pérez to pick a civilization. I'm going to bring us back into the lobby. B. There you go. I'm going to hop into game here. Ooh! Japan mirror. Where is Zuta where you need him? I have to admit, guys, I have played the campaign multiple times, but in a skirmish online, I don't have a Japanese home city, so I will do my best here. I've seen plenty of Japanese, and Zuta has drilled in the Japanese mirror from the years back when he used to cast this. So, be interesting to see. Recently, we've seen quite a lot of deviation from the old standard of heavily camming into 2 vills. This is quite a aggressive map, i.e. that there's not many safe hunts here, so possibly the heavily cammy may not be the sensible solution, and both players may go for a 300 wood or a 2 vil, especially if your explorers are one side of the map and they can't get across.
Yes.
Right, game 3, let's do it. Oh, just go. Right, we are spawning into game number 3 on Colorado. This is a Japanese mirror between Optimus and Pérez again. Pérez is on the right hand side in the colour blue, and Optimus is on the left hand side in the colour red, just like last game in terms of position and colouring, and gone for a Japanese mirror. So, we have both players splitting off explorers into different portions of the map. Instant deviation from the normal expected build I was expecting. We've gone for a very early shrine from Pérez in base as well. This is springing up lots of questions actually, because he's putting a shrine on his starting hunts, the hunt you'd usually put your Toshogo shrine on, but he has seen that he has got his secondary hunt here. However, there's always a risk that these just Guardia goats just walk off in a random direction. These guys are going for a little munch down to the south of the map already. They've already had enough of the Japanese base. They're going to wander off. So early indications here suggest that Pérez may not be going for the Toshogo shrine age up. Again, a secondary shrine going down, and he's focusing more on shrine building than treasure gathering, whereas Optimus is at the top. He's spotted this 95 wood by 2 grizzlies. He's going to put down one shrine nearby so he doesn't get housed. He's currently 10 out of 10. But once that goes down, he'll be focusing on this 95 wood treasure. 90 wood from Pérez. This is mirror treasures. Slightly easier for the Japanese player to take this one because of the lower HP, getting the divine strikes on the lower HP, and that's dirty. That is too quick to take that treasure down. If it was a European explorer, that would struggle for that one. As you can see, Optimus has only just taken down one bear. The bear's back from the stun, and Optimus is about to take damage as well. So nicer treasure for the Japanese players to come across at the bottom. However, in the end, they'll both get the 95. But we can see from... Well, so Pérez still has 90 wooden banks, so he's still going to have that wood saved up to be used at a later point. currently moving across to the left hand side. 110 coin from 3 wolves. This is easy for the Japanese player. This will be a very quick pickup. But Optimus Prime has poofed back to the base and he's starting to explore the south side. He's gone across 90 coin, and this should buy Pérez enough time to pick up the 110 coin themselves. So we've had both players getting 90 wood roughly, and both players are roughly getting 90 coin as well. So you can't even ask for anything more standard than this. The first shipment's come in, and we've seen a deviation. Pérez has gone for the 2 settlers. I'm not expecting the Tishoga Shrine from him. Optimus has gone for the Heavenly Kami, and he's got a Consulate in base. He's got 1 shrine down. He's got the cheaper shrines from the Consulate and the cheaper shrines from the card. I'm expecting Optimus to put a Tishoga Shrine in his base. Unfortunately, though, the Gaja Goats have thought the cliffs are more entertaining than the Japanese base, and yeah, here comes the Wander down. It's a tech being researched, and looks like, is it going to come up? Yeah, Tishoga Shrine. So hopefully it'll be enough range to pick up all these goats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's a full shrine of goats there. Looks like these goats want to be known as the mountain goats and climb up the mountain and get away from being hunted, but luckily for them, both players are Japanese, so they're going to survive the entire skirmish. 2 shrines from Optimus at the bottom left, and they're round to the shrine phase, but Optimus has got both his explorers together, building shrines together as best buddies and partners, which, I mean, they're stronger together, but it's very much less efficiently building the same shrine at the same time altogether. I suppose at this point, technically, he's making the most of it because he can only build 1 shrine at a time. However, they're all in the same location. We've got 4 shrines on the same screen at the moment, where Pérez has got 1 here, he's got 1 here, he's looking up top to hunt the shrine up here. He's not going for too many shrines due to his build, and let's see which one this is. Are they both? Pérez is also going for the Tishoga Shrine as well, but he's put a shrine on his starting hunt, so he's going to pick up 1, 2, 3, 4 sheep there, but the other sheep, they've run away. They've already had enough, so questionable decision for the very early shrine on his starting hunt. However, you can't really control where your hunt walks away, so I guess that's just the luck of the draw for this one. Nuclear Couplings at the top, sieging down his 1 shrine. It won't affect Optimus's population too much. However, it will take time for it to actually go down. And with units in Age of Empires, you only stop getting the advantage of the economic unit once it's actually destroyed. So it will take a while for it to get picked off. However, there is no military units for either player, so it might be a while until any units come on. Pérez has jumped onto the Japanese consulate. He's not aligned himself with the Portuguese, which would give him cheaper buildings. He has gone straight for the Japanese, and I'd assume that he's going for an early batch of clubmen and help siege down. He has seen that there's quite a few shrines at the bottom of the map, and the clubmen can path from the bottom down here, around the corner, and up to the base this way after taking out 3 there, 8. So there's 8 shrines. There's 8 shrines in the bottom of the map, and there's none on the top of the map. He has invested all his shrine eco in the same place, and has he still got his explorers together? He's got 1 here. He's poofed the other one to the back, and yes, now he's starting to split up his shrine production building facilities. So he's identified a mistake, and he's now making a more optimal play of splitting his explorers up. So this explorer is building in peace, where this explorer is nearby some Japanese clubmen who look like they want to be. They don't look very peaceful. They are tearing down the shrine very quickly. 40 siege each, costing export. This is a decent start for Pérez, I'd say, but it's too early to call in this mirror. Both players going for market upgrades. So although Pérez has kind of gone for like an interesting, different build than I would normally expect, he's still backing this up with a market, with upgrades, a Tishoga Shrine, 80 population, but Optimus does have 170 behind this. And you can see from the... Come on. You can see that the recalculated population, although Pérez has 2 more villages, the extra shrines is in Optimus's favour. Early skirmish between Ashley Girl Musketeers and Yumi Archers. It's not the worst trade in the world for either player, but the Ashley Girls can run away because they do have the speed advantage of 4.5 because they're the specialist musketeers who have, for some reason, the fastest speed in the game for a unit like that. However, Pérez still has the clubman at the bottom, uncontested as of yet, taking down shrine after shrine. He's taken down 3 here, I believe, or at least 2. He's taken down 1. All these shrines are Optimuses, so there's still another 3 to go. He's zoning off the Optimuses, Astria Musketeers at the top with a Yumi composition, and these clubmen are still very protected. 600 coin is sent in from the... well, I can't say 600 coin from the Japanese player, they're both Japanese. Pérez has shipped 600 coin in base. He's gathering quite a bit of coin and food at the moment, not necessarily spent in his bank. This indicates an age up to the age 3 for Pérez in quite a timely manner as well. He still has... so what Pérez has done, he's got himself out on the map with the clubs, sieging down Optimus's exaggerated eco because of his 2 cars he shipped. Optimus, on the other hand, he vested his export in bestiaries, which they're good. They're good for when you're fighting units, but they're very bad siege units. And for the time being, Pérez has made possibly more use of his export than Optimus. But obviously, Optimus's previous engagement with the Portuguese allies and having to save up that export for the Expo Patch has come to fruition now. Ashley Garrett's coming in. Bestiaries behind. Good position for the Bestiaries so they don't get taking any damage because they're quite low HP units. Musketeers, faster speed, they can close in the distance. And Pérez is just doing the right thing, he needs to retreat from this. It's a shame that he lost his Explorer, he could have poofed that back, but taking pot shots, is a good idea, but these units are fast to remember, so you stand around for too long, they will get on top of you. A couple of melee Ashy Garras and then the Bastieras on top of you as well. Defensive clubman in cover mode, absorbing some damage, and Optimus has microed onto the Yumi archers, but we've now gone from a decent sized mass from Optimus to quite a low mass, and Pérez's age up, I fear for Optimus. This is going unchallenged. One of the struggles that the Asian civilizations have is if they're aging up, they have to put villagers on the wanders to make it go faster, but if you have enemy units in the base, they can raid the villagers, cause idle time. We got a military rickshaw from the consulate being built. There's been a second barracks down. Equal military population, and Pérez is up in age. So Optimus has to think about what his counter plan to this, and his macro suggests that he's also going to age 3 and going to follow him up. However, just checking the shipment sent, it looks like Optimus is going up with a 4-vil Ashigara Musketeer attack and has not sent a coin or a food card to speed up this age up process, and as a result could possibly be aging up maybe 30 seconds later, a minute later, and this could be important. Pérez is likely to send his first age 3 shipment very soon. He may be sending already with a second one stacked. Haven't seen just yet. We've got Disciplined Yumi Archers. So although these Ashigara Musketeers have a card, they are carded with a stronger attack. The HP are still age 2, where the Yumi Archers, they're disciplined, they have better HP, they have better attack, and Pérez is on the front foot. He's pushing out with his age 3 clubman as well. They get auto upgraded. He has the large military unit population, and he can smell something's up. He can smell that Optimus is not pushing the advantage. If Optimus was committed to age 2, he will be in Pérez's base right now. He is not. He is on the defensive. Pérez knows this. He's pushing forward with his Yumi Archers, and he's sat on top of the Japanese gold mine. The Japanese player of Optimus is getting some gold somewhere. Oh, he has moved some villas to the top. He has got decent line of sight at the top of the map, and he feels these villages are safe. They have to have a coin, and if Pérez assumed that there were no coin villages there, Pérez may have assumed that he was gold starving the Japanese player at that time, but he has safely retreated, avoid being snared by the Naginata riders as well as the Ashigara Musketeers. The veteran card has come in. The first card for Pérez, 9 Yumi Archers, followed by 7 villagers. So although he's gone for an earlier age up time to age 3, he's putting a little bit of pressure to say that, hey, I'm here, I'm in age 3, I want you to react to me now, I'm dictating the pace of this game. He's actually snuck in a 7-vil card behind this. Just checking food, he's still got about 3,000 food, so possibly his next card is going to have to be the Cherry Orchards. He does have the Cherry Orchards in his deck. Otherwise, cards he may want to send will be 7 villagers again. Way of the Bow. I suppose if you're going for more of a Uni mass, you want to invest into your Yumi archers and not necessarily send 8 Ashes, 5 Nagi, or the Nagi card. The clubmen are moving to the bottom of the map here. We got 8 clubs on the shrines again, and I want to check how many clubmen has Pérez lost. He has lost 3 shrines, 7 Yumi, 1 Nuka. He has not lost a single club. These clubs have been picked up early from the Japanese consulate, and it's been continuously taking down shrines, hurting Optimus Prime's economy, and Pérez isn't paying for it. Like we've paid that one-time use. He's just getting continuous use out of it. Najinata hit points incoming for Optimus Prime. He's invested heavily with the veteran upgrades. Najinata hit points, 2 batches of Najinata of 9, and they're scouted. So Pérez is going to happily sit in his choke point. He's got a few trees protecting, but he's pulled some of the villagers back. But these are very strong units. It's just the range attack upgrade from the pavilion and the veterancy. Quite a lot of his Najinata is going down quite quickly. They do have a large contingency of hit points, 500 for an age 3, and they're not even Cuirassiers. He's decided to nope out of that one and run away from the clubs and the Ashigaru. They just can't get an angle. The Ashigaru, they've ran around the map absorbing the fire, but they haven't done any damage at this point. Okay, they're now onto the Yumi. Yumi's going to back out into another choke point. Clubs being produced. Ashigaru's disciplined as well, putting forward. Yumi archers are starting to be microed onto the disciplined Ashigaras of the Optimus Prime, and he's going to age 4. Oh my god, I did not notice that. How has he defended so well and got to age 4 at the same time? I have zero idea at this point. He has shipped the Daimyo Masamune to help defend. He may survive this actually, and it looks like Pérez has snuck up to age 4, may have a shipment on the way already, and he hasn't been too punished. I do worry though that he's only got 1,000 food left. He needs to send his cherry orchards to survive. However, he also may want to send a military shipment to kind of stamp his authority that he's in age 4 and he is safe. So it's either he's going to commit to the woods to build paddies, or he's going to have to commit to sending an age 2 shipment in age 4. He's aged up to age 4 just to send cherry orchards. 4 flaming arrows coming first, targeting the infantry mass, scares the mass away, and the Shogo Shrine is still standing. And so this is what we're talking about, how he's had to defend his age up by shipping a military unit shipment, which you normally do in any other civilization. Unfortunately for the Japanese player, that food is dwindling. Has he got his? Yeah, he's got his own shrines onto food to kind of supplement the cost, and he's aware of this. He's mainly gathering wood and coin for the guard upgrade, I assume, for the disciplined Yumis. He's still got an army of. Goes on to military units. 20 Yumi archers, still disciplined though. So he doesn't actually have anything here which is age 4, apart from the shipment of the flaming arrows. But he has built a castle, getting honoured flaming arrow now. I hope those actually the clubmen are still alive. I don't see them any alive anymore. He has 0 anti-cavalry. Optimus Prime has disciplined Nagis and the Nagi card, and he's also going for the age 4 wonder. I'm not gonna lie. I'm feeling worried for Optimus Prime at the moment. Pérez was in a weak position, having no anti-cav. However, Optimus Prime has stopped his unit production, saved up the resources to go to age 4, and could get caught out here. He may not be expecting 8 arrows to be walking across the map, but it looks like Pérez is committed to running out of food, get onto the woods, and if he's gonna train any more Yumis, he needs that food, so he's going to have to put down a a rice paddy. However, he may just kind of buy the food. He's got the shrines on the food. He may just train more more flaming arrows. I believe one of these daimyos can train troops. Yeah, train troops. So he may be training arrows from the side in protective stance. Let's check if the units in queue. Units in queue, 3 Ashigarus. So no, he's training infantry from this daimyo, which is very useful to protect the flaming arrows. He's pushing in. And Pérez doesn't actually know that he's aging up just yet until now. It now says Optimus is in the industrial age. He's aware of this, and he's thinking, oh goody, I've got honoured Ashigaru, I've got disciplines Yumi, I've just got to sit on top of my flaming arrows. If Optimus sends 4 flaming arrows, that's fine by me. I've got 8. I can easily rain down arrows of fire onto his own siege and take him out. Very cost-effective trade. He's on top of the TC, and if this goes down, does he actually have a shipment point? I'd like to think that one of the daimios can receive home shipments. I receive shipments, yes, so it's not the end of the world if this town centre goes down. However, he would have 0 protection for his villagers on the berry bushes at the moment. 14 Ashigaras were shipped to the forward daimyo point, defending his 4 flaming arrow mass. 4 flaming arrows that of Optimus on the side. They're a bit staggered, so only one's fine at the moment. The flaming arrows of the Pérez is turning around. However, at the moment they're focusing on the cavalry. He needs to change his. Yeah, he's picking up the clubs, but at the moment they're out of the range of the flaming arrows of Optimus Prime. He's traded one off there, but Optimus has actually taken some good trades with his flaming arrows at the time being. However, I believe that the mass of Pérez has decimated the cavalry line of Optimus Prime, and there you go. Prime's tapping out GG. That is game number 3 there, and I believe we've still got many more games to go. Even though this is the first round of the Pro Division, I want to say they're all best of 5s. I will check with the players afterwards there. And so, if anything, that was actually a decisive victory for Pérez. I was really impressed there that his strategy there actually worked out really well. I can't zoom back anymore, but Optimus Prime went for close combat, so that's 1 upgrade for the Ashigaro. That's extra hand attack versus cavalry. Well, there was no cavalry from Pérez there, so that was questionable. Extra HP. I guess sends in HP and then sends in Ashi attack together is a glorified Ashigaru combat. But versus pure Yumi mass and flaming arrows, those 2 unit shipments could have been the close combat could have been different. The cavalry hit points was a good shipment, I believe. That was a good idea to invest into Naginata disciplines and the upgrade. However, he then had to himself invest in 2 cherry orchards where Pérez chose to not to and somehow survived without it. Yes, he did in the end build 2 rice paddies and likely may have got the first tier food upgrade. However, you can see although his economy is kind of stretched, it wasn't producing that much food. He had food supplementing his eco from the shrines, but when he had 8 flaming arrows, a forward spawn point with 14 guards, Ashigaras coming into the fight, he was able to secure his position and tear down the infrastructure of Optimus Prime and finish up the game there. I don't imagine many villas dropped in this. Yeah, it's a very clean villager ground throughout the game. Pérez lost a few villagers on that Naginata push when he got to age 4. However, those villagers bought time for the age up, bought time for extra reinforcements of Naginata, clubmen, a shipment, and so that was a decent trade. Traded the military really well at that point. Yeah, oh yeah, you can see this. Look at this. All that population in Naginata just falls away for not much impact onto the military unit count of Pérez, and not many villagers were built up as well. So that was a very good defensive victory there for Pérez. And then he knew he had the initiative, he had the age up advantage. He had the daimyo for the forward spore point. He had the maybe not better composition. However, he knew that instead of having to remass his army, he could actually tech his army instead. So we saw the guards, Ashigara, the guards, flaming arrows, moved forward with his army and shipped his 4 flaming arrows twice, 14 musketeers, I believe, one of his batches, and then just came in with guard units over classical and not classical, heroic, colonial and fortress, and just took this mass down and yeah, secured the victory there. That was Pérez's game. That is 2-1 to Pérez in this best of 5 series. Ooh. Let's hop out of this one. Right, I'm going to take a very, very small break, which involves popping out this room, so I will join their game and put on the overlay. I don't know. I'll see you guys in for game number 4.
Yes.
What's up, guys? I'm back from a break. Still got the overlay up. However, there's been no chat in the game so far. They're both still sat on Japan. And I've asked if they're picking civs, but there's been no movements here. I believe it's Optimus to pick first because he lost the last game. So, was it alternating pick? I'll ask. Alt pick or. Right, I've just asked the guys who's picking first, and looks like they've already moved on to Aztec versus the British on Hudson Bay. I believe Pérez picked his civilization first. Best of 5. Alright, Pérez has confirmed he has picked the Aztecs into Hudson Bay into game number 4 of this best of 5 series. Optimus Prime has gone for the British. He did play the British earlier. He did win with the British. It's a civilization he seems to be very comfortable with. And we're going to hop into this one very soon. Oh, no. Yeah, he has. He did win it, didn't he? Of course. Well done, Pérez, being top of his rules, and he's obviously, just like Pérez, has read through the rules very carefully, as all competitors in this tournament very should do. Even so should I in my competition as well. I'll be down there in the beginner division and had a fantastic game versus the Corporal. It was a British meal in Hudson Bay, and I went full British pikes into it, and I must have made about 500 pikes. The recorded game is up on the brackets as well, if he wants to look at 500 pikes. I also had a Dutch game involving pure cannon production into a Sioux counter pick. Unfortunately, I may have lost one large batch of cannons. However, I made sure that I added something different to my mass to win the second engagement very comfortably and finish that game. Optimus is currently sat in the lobby thinking about his next civilization. He's like a give anxiety. It seems like he's very comfortable with the British. However, he's a bit tentative when it comes to other civilizations. Except for I actually was very impressed with. Well, he has had the last game was a good game as well. His British game was a good game. He's gone for the French civilization. It's a very similar style to the British as well. So he's going to go for French versus Aztec. I'm going to green in just to let them know that I'm ready as well. And I'm looking forward to the fourth game in this best of 5. Match point for Pérez. Optimus is sneaky change to German. Optimus did lose his first match while playing as the Germans against a very aggressive civ like Russia, which Aztecs can also be played in a very aggressive manner, so it could be a very similar dynamic to what we saw in the first game. Optimus may want to go for Expo Pike. Pérez is greened up. He's ungreened up. Recorded game, yes. Well done, Pérez. Give this guy a job at ESOC. He's on the board more than I am. Recently got a new desktop PC, which makes me spawn into the game first, so it's always like that awkward, I'm in before everybody else. I get decent micro though. Welcome back, guys. We are joining into game number 4 on Hudson Bay. Pérez is currently leading this series 2-1 versus Optimus Prime. We have an Aztec versus German match, with Pérez leading the Aztecs into the battle against the Germans on the... I was trying to think of some sort of phrase to go with just the Germans, but yeah, just Germans. They don't need any more instruction than that. Optimus is spawned on the right hand side of the map, with Pérez spawned on the left hand side. It's a coin start, so unfortunately Optimus will not be able to get an early trading post down unless he does build a market and well, he'll need a lot of coin if he wants to buy for a trading post. So I assume he's dropping a market. Yeah, he's done there. He's dropped a market forwards as well, giving extra meat shield in front of his town, blocking the coin mine. He's gone for an early herd as well with the elk, possibly worried that they may run away. And I don't disagree with this move. I'm not going to say it's the best move either. He does have one moose right underneath TC, which is settler wagons are gathering from, and a very quick rally point for his villagers to go onto. Page down, page up. So far, Pérez has picked up some coin treasures. They both picked up their in-base coin treasures. Pérez picked up 40 wood, and Optimus is about to pick up the first big treasure of 135 XP, and he's just got his first shipment now. But unfortunately, he's gone for some early market play, which, although is good, he's had to delay that house as a result of it. He's only just shipped it now. He's got the early hunting dogs, and so if he went for the house before the hunting dogs, he would have queued in the settler production as well as the 3 settler wagon production a little bit quicker. However, this is a great start from Optimus. He'd be very happy with that XP treasure. Currently at the bottom of the map, looking at 70 food from 2 wolves. This will ensure help that he doesn't have an idle. He doesn't have any idle time with TC before clicking up with 17 villagers likely. And Pérez is starting to convert the zoo of the Hudson Bay. He's recruited the services of a bear. He's picking up a native Indian, and they're joined by a Mexican. So this is, people say Pokemon Party. I say this is a Star Wars cafe. We've got a bear, a Mexican, and an Indian, and I guess Aztec's Mexican as well, really. Okay, let's say this is the Midwest cowboy. Cowboy, a Mexican, an Indian, and a bear. Sounds like a joke. Definitely wasn't a joke for the German explorer though. He got dropped down by the 3 of them, and he unfortunately didn't have a crack shot available to take out either the outlaw or the bear. And this is actually rather large. This is giving Pérez free reign of the map in terms of explorers. He can maybe split out his least damage dealing one. That could be the actual Cherokee rifleman, I reckon, in terms of least damage to explore which treasures he wants next. But he's identified he wants the 120 food. Conversely, Optimus, he's only got 1 explorer. It's down on the ground. He can't get a trading post out, although he probably wouldn't want to be sieged down by any forward aggressiveness of the Aztec player. But just like in the first game as well, in the first game, the Russian player managed to pick up the war dog and take down the German explorer. So Optimus needs to think about keeping his very important German explorer a little bit alive, a little bit longer to help drop down a trading post, whether it's a trading post on the trade route like this, or a safe native TP on the Cree, which in this recent ESOC patch does provide a XP generation for native posts, as well as provides an opportunity to train some extra courier de bois from the native settlement in Age 2. Pérez has used a fast age up to the second age before the Germans, even though he clicked up afterwards. We've got 2 forward villagers gathering the wood at the moment. Not quite there yet on the resources needed for the forward war hut. So I would assume that his first shipment may not be military, because they'll have to spawn right at the back of the TC and walk over. But we'll find out. He's sent his shipment. He's got 1 military unit population, 16 settlers in queue. He's gone up to 22. He hasn't got any production facilities, so I assume he may have gone for either the 3 warrior priest or the 6 pike, 6 coyote, or 5 settlers. It won't be the maces, but he's sending one of those 4 shipments. In terms of his second age card selection, a very standard card selection. He's got all the units. He's got the coyote upgrade. He's got the warrior priest, 1 set of vills, and the infinite coin. So that's a decent deck from the Aztec. He's moving in with he's got a second engine now as well. He's starting the multicultural society here, and he's going to leave the Germans to it. He's built up a few settlers, just that 1 settler, scaring away but not doing too much damage output, and he's once again gone for the in-base racks. It's starting with crossbowmen this time. However, it was scouted by Pérez's advance party of his group of explorers, scouts, animals, native treasures, and so this actual army could probably take out 5 pikes easily. Could trade well versus 5 crossbowmen, and this is actually a sizable mass. I think native players need to take a bit more focus on actually recruiting and using the best use of the explorer convert ability. He's got one black bear. There was a grizzly bear, but that must have gone. He must have traded the grizzly bear for a black bear. Maybe he's into selling animals at his zoo. Let's check what the first shipment is from the German player. The German player has gone for 3 settler wagons. He's gone for the more economic build. However, he's also going for a very food and wood heavy build to start off with. He does have the gang saw. He does have the hunting dogs as well. I like that he's got gang saw. Gang saw is probably one of those researches. It's just slightly off of people's go-to instant reactions that can be forgotten, but he has got that. But if Pérez is starting to put any raiding pressure, it'd be nice to see that he gets the greatcoats in as well. Currently, Pérez has shipped 700 wood, 3 warrior priests, 600 wood. Has he just done the same thing as he did with the last game, where or even at the first game as well, he's kind of put himself on the map, he's shown his presence, he's got a decent size native army as well that the German player has had to play reactive to, instead of proactive, reactive to, and Pérez has got away with 3 greedy shipments. However, instead of German player going for the 700 wood next like he did last time, he's gone for straight expos, and he's pushing forward onto this undefended blockhouse. He does have a large amount of coyote runners, which basically counters this entire army apart from the pikemen. The war hut is also targeting down the pikemen as well. That's a good move. It will take a while to take down the pikemen in totally. However, if you can eliminate at least 1 or 2, that would aid to the longevity of the army. And back, coyote runs coming out the back. They're onto the expos. There's only 5 pikemen here. They can't cover all sides. Mace totems spawn from the back. They're taking decent shots. A good surface area coverage from the coyote runners, doing large damage to all the crossbows. And this is a great trade for the Aztec player so far. Although there's reinforcing crossbowmen, he may have to back off at this point. He'd be very happy with this trade. This Aztec explorer is in cover mode. He's taken a lot of damage. I haven't noticed how much damage he's taken, but he's strolling around the park. And Optimus is he is tapped out. That was a quick victory there for Pérez. Wow, GG. Well played. Pérez wins 3-1 in this best of 5 series, and Pérez will advance to the next round of the Pro Division, into the round of 16, into the actual seeded competition, I believe, and will be up against another player. We'll find out in a bit who he's playing against. But this game, how can I summarise? The Aztec player managed to get a large accumulation of native warriors and treasure guardians. If I can get it up, let's see what Pérez picked up. Because he picked up a lot. He picked up the coin, 40 wood, Native American, 90 coin, 120 food, native warrior, and it's not just the warriors he picked up. He also converted a a grizzly bear, a high HP tank unit. He could have tanked some treasures. He picked up an outlaw rifleman, providing lots of damage in this engagement. And yeah, the Iroquois Tomahawk's still alive. The outlaw riflemen are still alive. 43 range attack in the second age here. This converted guardian. And if one of those shots just went onto a crossbow, pikeman specifically, it would take 3 shots to take out an Expo, but everything little helps. He may have got 5 shots there, and Optimus went for a 3 settler wagon, 8 Expos off of 1 barracks. The 8 Expos he used to push out of the base. However, he got caught out by a pop of trained coyote runners, as well as a shipment of a 10 mace at the back. And he could have, if Pérez wanted to dial up even further, he could have possibly eaten a sheep at home to get a 3 Aztec Knights, Jaguar Prowler Knights on top to further snare, and that Explorer there was tanking right in the middle. Village account, no villagers went down, action went in the centre of the park, but this military population, if you're Optimus Prime, close your eyes at this point. This is a large victory for Pérez. Pérez must have only lost about 5 units, 5 coyotes. He did ship a batch of 10 Mace Sultans as well as the 5 coyotes during the fight as well, and that Optimus starts to lose units hand over fist, and when it gets to this point, he knows that he's invested in the push. He has no real follow up, and he just has to tap out there.